thank you for joining our lesson number 1. So glad you decided to join us. Free guitar lessons. We're going to take you step by step, bridge gap guitar training. Okay, so lesson number 1, we're going to talk about, hey, what kind of guitar do I need? How do I go select the one I need? Or maybe you already have a guitar and you're wondering, hey, is this something adequate? Is this something I can really use to learn on? So I want to answer some of those questions for you today. But the first thing I want to mention is, you know what? Before you get started, before you pick up your guitar, before you get in all these lessons, relax. Just relax. Every time you pick up your guitar or do a lesson, I would like for you to associate that with relaxation and enjoyment. It'll help keep your stress level down. It'll help you to motivate you to play. It'll help keep your nerves down as you go forward. Hey, it's just guitar. It should be fun. It's making music. So, what kind of guitar do I need? In order to answer that question, you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. Just really quickly, what do I want to do with my guitar? So here's what I mean by that. Do I want to play for my family in my living room? Do I need like amplification, or will just a simple acoustic, will that work for me? Or do I want to play on the beach or at the campfire with my friends, all those kinds of things? Or are you a person that's going to maybe be a worship leader at your church, or you're going to be on a gig playing with a rock band? So those are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself. So for the first category of people, you want to play in your living room, you like the sound, the natural sound of acoustic, or maybe you're a bluegrass player or a songwriter and you just like the sound of acoustic. Well, hey, you can't go wrong. Your standard acoustic guitar, lots of beautiful music, all kinds of genres you can play with an acoustic guitar. You just have to answer that question for yourself. Do I want to play with the special effects, distorted? Am I going to play those kinds of things? So, second question you ask yourself is, what style of music do I like? Am I a classical fan? Do I want country music, to play country music, or jazz, or rock, or metal? Those are all decisions that should probably influence what kind of guitar you get. So I want to talk about those a little more specifically. So first of all, if an acoustic's the thing for you, what you want to do is, this is something you can use unplugged, or for example, this Taylor guitar, it has down here a place to plug in a wire for an amplifier. So if I'm playing for my church, I can plug in to a DI box or straight into an amplifier or into their PA system, and I can play and it'll be amplified. So you have two different kinds. You have acoustics that are just acoustic, that's all they do, and you have some that are plug-in. What you do want to consider, especially with acoustic guitars, because they tend to have a little bit higher action. And what I mean by action is the distance your string is from the top of the fret. So the action is how hard or how far do you have to push down in order for the string to touch the fret. That's where your sound is. That's what makes the note you want to play. If you're looking at a guitar and the action is so high, it's so high up off the neck that you really have to struggle to push down just one note, and when you do, it bends it out of tune, you don't really want to go that direction, because it's going to be frustrating for you. It's going to be hard to play. So when you're going and looking for guitars, and I recommend you play quite a few. Go to a guitar store. Go, if your friends have guitars, play different ones and see what you like. There are different shaped necks. Some are wider, some are narrower, all those things. You want to put your hands on that guitar. See if you can push the strings down. See how it feels on your body. Is it really thick? Is it really thin? Can you hold it okay? And we're going to talk about guitar posture and all that, which brings me to the next point. This video and the next one kind of go together. So maybe before you go make an investment, you'd want to watch both, because the next video tells you how the guitar works and what are the parts. So it will help you understand what's a decent quality guitar. But with an acoustic especially, so check that action out. Make sure it can play. Fret a couple of notes. And that's just pushing the string down hard enough to touch the fret. And listen to the noise. Make sure there's a noise. It's not making some kind of weird buzz or something like that. So those are really the basic two questions you want to ask, is what do I want to do with my guitar, and what kind of music do I want to play? So that's the acoustic. So let me take just a minute and talk to you a little bit about electric guitars. Okay, so we talked a little bit about an acoustic. This is an electric. This is what you would call a Strat style electric guitar. It's not a Stratocaster. In fact, it's a very budget-friendly guitar. I bought it at the Sweetwater Exchange, the used gear shop. I wanted a travel guitar that I could take with me. I travel for business and not be worried about, you know, destroying $1,000 or plus guitar. So I got this for like $100. It was used. The thing you want to consider when you're looking at an electric guitar, you do want to plug one in, make sure into an amplifier, make sure it works. You can hear the sound and all that stuff. Just like with acoustic, you want to check the action, make sure you can play it, feel it in your hands. You know, can I get my hands around it? You know, things like that. Another thing with electric guitars is they some of them can be heavy. I own a Les Paul. It's much heavier than this guitar is. I love it. It's a great guitar. I highly recommend it if you like that kind of music. But if you're going to stand up and play, you want to think about weight, the shape of the guitar, how thin is it, how thick is it, does it feel comfortable on your body when you hold it on your body? So, you know, watching that video about guitar posture, the one about how it works, can help you select that. You want to check, you know, like I said, check it and plug it in. There's a couple of options. Actually, there's a bunch of options for pickups. Ones where you see single pole pieces like that, and they're kind of a narrow pickup. We call that a single coil pickup, and they tend to be brighter. By the way, a lot of blues players, country players, even rock players, Jimi Hendrix played a Strat style guitar, as well as Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton. You know, they played a lot of guitars. But from clean sounds to sort of classic rock, blues, these really fit in that genre quite well. They're pretty versatile, having 3 pickups and lots of adjustments. So a very light, very ergonomic guitar for a Strat. I also own a Telecaster. I own a Les Paul. And there are some more modern ones. If you're a shredder, you know, Ibanez and Schecter and ESP and Kiesel, and there's a lot of different ones. That a lot of them are based on a Strat style body or something similar to this. It's light, it's thin, but they have different pickups. These are single coil pickups, so they're going to be very bright, very clean. I'll show you one that has a humbucker. So this is a guitar with a humbucker, and that's this pickup here, and it's got it kind of looks like there's 2 single coils stacked together. And basically what happens is in this winding, there's metal wire behind here under this pickup. One goes this direction and the other goes the opposite direction. And what it does is cancel out noise. So if you're you like a lot of distortion, a lot of effects, this can be very beneficial to you because it will keep that buzzing, amp, humming sound to a minimum. You know, a lot of the heavier rock, but not that's not all, but specifically heavier rock players will use a humbucker. And there's other versions. There's active pickups that even are higher output than these. But this is just an example. This is a Les Paul body. You can see it's a little bit thicker than that Strat style body. It's quite a bit heavier. I'd say the Strat's maybe 8 pounds. This is maybe 13 pounds. So not quite twice as heavy, but heavier. You know, this one has a what they call a toggle switch, so I can select this pickup. The middle does both, and the bottom does just this one. Whereas the Strat had 3 pickups, it had a 5-way selector. You can select the top, the next 2, the middle, the next 2, or the bottom. So it's really versatile in that way. This one will have a little darker sound, a little heavier sound to it. If you think about genres of music. Yeah, I hate to put names because all kinds of people play them, but you know, Jimmy Page played a Les Paul for a while. So did Randy Rhoads and something like that. So it has a heavy, thick, creamy sound when you distort it. These are just a couple of options. Again, you want to plug it in, you want to try it out, try a bunch of guitars. Now, just really quickly about budget. You don't have to spend a lot of money. This Les Paul is not a Gibson. It's an Epiphone. It's typically less than an American-made Gibson. But I'll tell you, of Les Pauls I've played, this is one of my favorite I've ever played. I can get the action really low. It's a great guitar. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars or get any particular name brand to get a nice guitar. There are trusted brands that tend to do really well, but you don't have to spend that. Like I said, that practice guitar back there, this one, the Strat style showed you, less than $100. Now this is going to be more than that. But you can go into a guitar store. If you want an electric guitar, between $300 and $500, you should be able to get a playable guitar that you could play at church, in a gig, or whatever. It might not be the highest end, all the highest quality hardware, but it's plenty ample enough to play and to learn by. Similar price range on acoustic. You can get $300 to $500, a decent range there. Obviously you can go very high with these. So you don't have to break the bank. Number two, where to get your guitar. So getting them from a friend, you can buy them from a friend, you can buy them from a pawn shop. When I buy those kinds of things, I want to check it out a lot more to make sure it works properly. If you can't get to a guitar store, one of the best ways, if I'm going to buy online, I will buy from, and I have a t-shirt on today. They're not sponsoring this video or anything, but Sweetwater, the reason why is that you spend more than $300, I think it's more than $300, they're going to do a 55-point inspection. They're going to check connections. They're going to make sure everything works right. You're going to get your guitar well packaged and sent to you. Really online, I haven't seen anybody that can touch them. So really good place to go. I happen to live in the same area where the store is. So I just go into the store and get my stuff, but ordering them online, I've been through the area where they do the checks, and sometimes they're even better quality than what you get straight from the factory because they repair things they're known defects. So that's a good option. Like I said, you can do pawn shops, you can do friends, but just be sure you check it out. So when you're checking, really, it's all about what you want to do with it. What kind of music do you want to play? And you know what? If you can't afford, you got a guitar, it's not great. You can still learn, you can still grow. I'll tell you this. Buying a more expensive guitar will not make you a better guitar player. The only way to become better is to learn the instrument and play the instrument consistently. Gear isn't going to make you better. Now, there's options you'll have with gear. There's comfort levels you'll have with gear. But every time I buy something and it's maybe a little expensive, I realize I'm not really a better guitar player. I enjoy it, but I'm not really a better guitar player because I bought this instrument. So some things to think about, stay within your budget. Leave comments, questions that you might have about gear. I plan on doing several videos to review gear, but this video is going on long enough. I want to get to the plan. So in the next video, we'll talk about guitar parts. And then the third one, lesson 3, you're going to put your hands on it. We're going to make music. So stay with us and don't give up. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.